Accept, then act. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it, not against it. What is up, everyone? This is Marisa Johnson, and welcome to my podcast, Tournament Talk. And today I have a very special guest, Miss Anna Pasquinelli.
Hey, everybody.
She is one of my students in my tri-tennis class. Now, if you don't know what a tri-tennis class is, basically it is a class where you try tennis. And it is honestly just a very beginner class for anybody that wants to try and come. I teach at 9 a.m. on Mondays at Camelback Village, but I go through the basic strokes and kind of introduce the sport to people. But before we get into a little bit about her story, I wanted to just introduce her a little bit and have her explain whatever she wanted to about herself. But we she's taken my class for just 1 month, and that's only been 4 sessions. So my class is once a week. She has come 4 times, and throughout this 4 weeks, I've gotten to know her just a little bit and a little bit about her story, which I think is extraordinary. And I just really think that she should share it today. So, Anna, if you would please introduce yourself and explain a little bit about some of the hardships that you've had in life, and then what actually inspired you to start training tennis and getting into the sport after that?
Well, my hardships started right away. I was born with nerve damage in my face, so I had a hard time fitting in.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled a lot and was very isolated and kind of shy and even very depressed for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then as an adult, I started to overcome that and come into myself. And then I think my biggest struggle has been in the last 3 years. In 2016, I was diagnosed with colon cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And had to go through a month of chemo and radiation, then colon resection surgery, and then another 7 months of chemotherapy. And it was hard. And
Yeah.
I lost all of my muscle. I was very skeletal after the surgery because the surgery, I didn't want to start eating again.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from 160 pounds to, I'd say, 120. It was really not good.
Yeah.
But I got through it.
Yeah.
And I started to build muscle again, and I started to train again. And my husband and I have been married for 6 years now, and I wanted something in common with him that we could share. So I wanted to learn how to play tennis.
Yeah.
So I finally started to get back a little bit of my stamina, a little bit of my muscle. So here I am taking classes with you.
Okay. And I know her husband, he is always out here every day. He plays tennis like how many hours a day?
At least 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah. And he's just a great guy. I love seeing John out here and him always playing and practicing and working hard. And so that's just amazing that, I'm kind of in the same boat actually. I want something in common with my husband, so I'm trying to get him to play some tennis, so he's kind of like flip-flopped. But, I love that, you want to share something with your husband, and so you decided to come out and take tennis and learn for him, or for you even.
For myself, to stay fit and healthy and strong.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of like, would you say it's mainly for yourself or for him, or like a good mixture?
I think it's a healthy balance of both.
Yeah.
I think one of the things my husband has instilled in me is that we're both getting older in life. He's 65, I'm 52, and we know we have to take care of our bodies and stay healthy, and this would be a good common way for us to reach that balance.
I love that, yeah. That's how I hope that my husband and I will catch up together.
There you go.
Okay, so crazy story already. So you literally lost all muscle in your body, is that what I'm understanding?
Pretty much. I mean, I stopped eating after the surgery, and for 11 days I didn't eat. And so I got down to almost impossible weight. Finally, I started eating again. It had something to do with the morphine they were using for the pain.
Yeah.
But it took a long time to get my body back. It took a long time. It took maybe a year for me to get back to 160 pounds.
Yeah.
Because you lose your sense of taste, and you don't really care about eating.
Right.
With the chemotherapy. So that was 7 months after the surgery. I was taking chemotherapy. So first I get down to nothing, and then I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
so it's tough. And that's the hard part about getting through the process of treatment, is staying motivated, staying persistent, getting up, moving your body.
Yeah, that sounds...
You have to get your balance back. All your stabilizer muscles shrink up, and so you can hardly balance yourself anymore. It's like I'm a really fragile old person. So it took a lot of work.
That's honestly just insane to me, because I feel like you picked the hardest sport ever to attempt to try and play when you I know you told me before but they don't know, you weren't athletic as a kid. You didn't
kind of shy and klutzy.
Didn't really do any type of sport until, is it now? Like no sport ever? Or?
Not really, no.
Okay, this is like even more insane than I knew. So no experience whatsoever with playing any sports, and then here you are at 52 coming out and trying the sport. So huge question, how are you feeling? You've only had like 4 lessons with me, but just getting started. First off, are you loving the sport?
I love it. It's a lot of fun. It really gets your heart going, and it really gets your brain thinking. You have to move fast, you have to think fast. It's challenging me, and that's the only point in being alive, is if you challenge yourself.
That is so true.
You have to constantly challenge yourself, or why do it?
Right, like honestly, what's the fun if there's nothing or no goal to go after?
Exactly.
It's kind of just like, this is me.
Yeah. I'm not an Eeyore.
So that's crazy. So you're out there and you're playing, and I can see how hard it is for you out there, like considering the muscles haven't developed. Even just taking one step could be like hard for you. I know today we work specifically on like learning about spacing and perception on like how the ball's coming to you. So like at this point, what do you think is the hardest trial you've come to with trying to learn tennis? Like what's the hardest?
The hardest thing probably has been my stamina. Building up my cardiovascular stamina. I think if I had a little more of that, I'd be a little more prepared physically. Right. We've worked with trainers for a couple years now on building myself up so that I can get back into doing sports. I'm learning how to ski too.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. But like I went to ski too soon after the chemotherapy, and my bones weren't ready, and I tore my ACL. Oh. So then I missed a year, and but I'm back at it this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true for anyone else who's gone through cancer, but it's definitely true for me, considering the way I grew up and the challenges I had as a young person, and then going through the challenge of having cancer. You learn that if something doesn't go the way you want it to go, there's usually a lesson behind it. There's something you can get out of it. So not to poo-poo it, just embrace it. And you don't work with kids, don't you?
I work with kids, yeah. They similar things, and I've had people on my court too, doesn't matter the age, where they simply just break down if they can't get it right after they've tried 10 shots, 20 shots, and it's not connecting, and they have a complete mental breakdown on the court. And it's like, for those people, like, because you're out there and it's taking you 10 times longer, as what it seems, than those people. Like, what would you have to say to those people that they're trying something, they're working hard, they're working on a certain stroke, or strategy or something, and it's just not clicking? Obviously, I would say, if anyone, you would have the hardest time ever trying to figure out how to do what that person would be doing. So what's something you would say to them to just like give them some good encouragement?
You just can't give up. I mean, if you give up, you lose. Giving up makes you lose. You have to stay positive, you have to keep trying, and remember that the more you do it, the better you get at it. And you can't expect something just to fall into your lap.
Yeah.
Everything you have, you've earned.
Yes.
At least in my life. And if it's going to be something good, you're going to have to earn it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that's one of the ways that we as humans come about happiness.
I agree.
When we have a trial or something that's very hard to us, and we work diligently, persistently, like super, super, super hard on that one thing, and then finally it starts to connect. Just that sense of like accomplishment, and just feeling like, wow, I did this. I did something that was really hard for me. I think that's where that's where the big reward is.
Right.
Like, and a lot of players I know are very they're very outcome focused. During their practices or during the matches. During their practices, if they're working on their forehand and their only focus is, well, I have to get it in. I don't care about anything else, and it has to be hit awesome. Or,
There's a bigger picture there. You can't enjoy life if you're so micro-focused.
Exactly.
You have to be able to laugh and have fun.
Yeah. And just kind of work through, what the hardships are.
If I were Rafa Nadal, I might have a different attitude, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
This is me. I'm not going to be a competitive tennis player, but I want to be good.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to have to keep trying.
Yeah. You want to have fun, and you know exactly what your goal is too. I'm sure, you want to be able to hit the ball around with John sometime, and like just feel like you can have a fun, good rally. And honestly, like even today, I was, for the first time, instead of hand tossing to you, I was actually feeding you an actual ball, which is like, this is quite a stepping stone for you. How did that go today?
It was challenging. It was like, ooh, I'm moving up.
It's like, oh, the ball is on my face.
But it was a bigger challenge, so you believed I could do it.
Yeah.
And I did.
And I know that you personally, and like anybody, if they set their mind to something and they work hard towards it, of course they can do it.
Yeah.
And don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't. I mean, I'm sure you've been through life and people tell you can't do something, and you're probably like, yeah, right, no way.
Yeah. I started out young being told, don't even aspire for certain things, because this is the category you're going to be in, so that's the category you get used to and stay. And for a long time I did. Mm-hmm. But then I realized that, if you don't reach out and experience different things in life, you limit yourself, you limit your joy and your happiness.
Yeah.
So to step outside of comfort zone, and push yourself a little bit. Yeah. That's important, because you'll never know what a beautiful chocolate tastes like if you've never tried to taste it.
Right.
It's the same thing. You have to try, and sometimes it hurts. Mm-hmm. But that hurt can turn out to be a very positive end game, like building the muscle and getting stronger.
Right.
And, having a closer relationship with someone you love who values the sport.
Yeah. And also, like, when, I was feeding you shots today, and we hit multiple baskets of them, and maybe a couple of them you finally felt like, whoa, I connected, like I hit the ball in the strings, and like,
it felt right.
And it felt right. Like, just like that feeling is probably like, I am getting somewhere.
Right.
Like, you have to probably really hold on to those moments and use that to push you forward and keep going.
In the job that I do, I work with children, and the big theme behind working with children is you learn through play. Mm-hmm. You have fun with what you're doing, you experiment, you step outside your comfort zone, and you broaden yourself. Yeah. And that's, as long as you treat this therapy like play, the kids enjoy it and they grow. Yeah. And you've made this fun. Yeah. You've made it fun to learn. You joke around and you tease, and it's great. You've made learning fun, and I think that's the important thing to remember is when you're trying to learn something new, remember that if you make it fun and enjoy it, you won't give up. It's a more positive experience.
And you'll flourish in what you're trying to do. That's awesome. Well, I think that's all we have for today, unless there's any last minute, like, any things you'd like to say, or you got all your points across, or
just love yourself and spread that love around to everyone around you, and life will be good.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for being on my podcast today, and thank you to everyone listening. I hope this was just the most inspirational story. I know I'm super inspired to get out there and start working on what I need to work on. Persistence, you guys, you know it, you heard it today. We are going to head out, and please share this podcast with anyone that you feel might need to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And also, if you're listening just on Spotify, just hit that like. I don't even know how Spotify works, actually. I'm really bad at the techie
We'll
stuff.
play around with it.
We'll play around with it. Okay, you guys, thank you so much, and we are going to peace out. Thank you so much for joining us on Tournament Talk.